Hey there everyone, welcome back to another Game Vault video. As always, I'm Captain Beefy with the Game Vault, and we're going to talk about Square Enix today and how they took a $350 million hit in value as their stock plummets. Let's cue up the music and we'll get right to it. Alright, so these guys are a former Sweet Baby Inc. client, by the way, but I said former, which is a good thing. Square Enix shareholders received a rude awakening Monday. This article's from a few days ago, November 13th. As the video game company behind Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts saw a 10-point dip in the Japanese market. This equates to a market capitalization loss that measures in the hundreds of millions. This is huge. We're seeing this over and over again in this industry as these big companies are losing hundreds of millions of dollars. Warner Brothers did it, and it's happening all over the place. Studios are closing down, they're downsizing, they're firing people left and right. It's bad. They're absorbing smaller studios into larger studios. Yeah, and this is all because, I think the market has topped out for now. We've seen so many issues with it. There's so much crap going on that is toxic to the market, and it needs to be rectified for it to fix itself. I think budgets are way out of control. There's got to be a way to rein these things in a little bit. I see these consultancy firms like Sweet Baby Inc., for instance, that can probably be cut off and not spent. I don't know how much money goes to them, but every $1 million you save is $1 million you save, right? And a company like Sweet Baby Inc. is toxic to your game. People see that and they don't want to buy it. Not everybody, but there is a large group of people out there that don't want these kind of consultancy firms involved in their games. So when I say that, these are DEI consultancy firms. They push for diversity, equity, and inclusion. They're the ones that are making white characters into black, straight characters into gay, lesbian, whatever, trans characters, and pushing all this weird nonsense, into games where it doesn't belong. And they're putting it in there in a way that doesn't feel natural. And there's no problem having a black character. There's no problem having a gay character or whatever in a game if it occurs there naturally, organically, and it fits into the story properly, and it feels, it belongs, right? Black Angerboda in God of War Ragnarok. Come on, man. It stuck out like a sore thumb, And I always say it, great actress, but really bad miss on the part of Santa Monica Studios there. But let's continue on with this. Several worrisome figures seemingly caused enough unease for the stock to take a hefty hit. Despite the increase over the 6-month period, operating profits have been on a heavy decline through 2024. Most notably, Square Enix found itself 27% down in Q3 of 2024. Premium game sales are also down this year, which could have pushed investors to sell. Square started November with a variation of $4.68 billion. This number was based on the company's outstanding shares with Square Enix stock price. However, it has since lost up to $350 million in value. Here's good old Kim Blair with Sweet Baby Inc., the poison herself, the cancer. Square Enix was a notable client of Kim Blair's Sweet Baby Inc., the narrative design company, contracts with gaming studios to consult on story elements, often injecting DEI into the narrative. The company also appeared prominently on SBI's website, though recently Square Enix vanished from the list entirely. So we're assuming they either terminated their contract with them, if they had a contract or whatever, asked them to take that down, or just hiding the relationship. I don't trust anybody in this business because just the way things are going here. But whatever the case may be, if you're ashamed of that relationship, that's a good thing. That's a step in the right direction because eventually you are going to terminate it. And if that relationship continues, people are going to find out. They're going to see it in the games. We're going to recognize that touch, that taint from Sweet Baby Inc., that thing that ruins a game or makes it, insufferably annoying. And it's going to get revealed. It's going to get revealed, and people aren't going to buy the game. So, hopefully they did the right thing. And another thing Square Enix does, which is, and this is going to be 100% to be fair to them, is they often offer exclusivity to PlayStation, Sony PlayStation for their games, which does limit their sales to some degree. I'll be honest, I'm not one of those guys that's just going to blame everything on DEI. There's a lot of factors involved in these things. There's a lot of moving parts in this industry, and I'm sure being limited to one console, at least in the beginning, plays a big factor in it. I know they do ports eventually to PC, and I think they go eventually to Xbox as well. I know Xbox isn't selling very well, so even if they did immediately come out to Xbox, it probably wouldn't help with initial sales that much. But if upon release it went to PC at the same time, it would probably have a significant impact on the revenue right out of the gate. But, who knows? But I just, console exclusivity, I get it if it's your own, if it's your own company, if it's Sony Studios like Santa Monica or something, if it's them making the game, yeah, go ahead, make it an exclusive. That helps sell your console. But to partner up with these other companies like Square Enix and all that, I think you're just hurting those companies in the long run, especially in today's economy where, games are expensive, nobody's got any money, everything's ballooned out of control as far as costs go. You need every dollar of revenue you can get, and to limit your potential audience is just asking for trouble. So hopefully that's something that we'll see change in the future here. I don't know. We'll see. While there's no definitive list of Sweet Baby Inc.'s influence on Square, many point to censorship actions taken by the company in recent years, like restricting the size of Tifa's chest in Final Fantasy VII as proof of the narrative's firm's involvement. Sweet Baby Inc. wasn't the only narrative design firm Square worked with. It also contracted Black Girl Gamers to work on noted flop Forspoken. Oh god. Square Enix representative director Yosuke Matsuda even admitted that sales for Forspoken were weak back in February 2023. Yeah, that game was an absolute turd. That was, there's been a lot in the last 2 years of woke games that absolutely shat the bed. And Forspoken is at the forefront of this movement here. I remember when I first saw Forspoken advertised, I was like, oh, that looks like fun. I mean, female black protagonist, and, whatever, it is what it is. I didn't cross my mind at the time. I hadn't really woken up to the fact of what was going on in games yet. I was still kind of naive in that respect, and shame on me for that, but hey, it is what it is. But I saw the gameplay, I saw her running around and the movement in the game, and it looked cool as hell. The combat looked okay, the enemy design looked okay, but you only saw a little bit of that. It was the movement that looked fun. The traversal looked awesome. I was like, that's kind of neat. And then they released a trailer where she talked to her armband, and oh man, that was the most cringe crap I ever heard in my life. It was awful. It was right up there with Marvel's Midnight Suns, and I was like, well, what? There's no way. I wouldn't be able to play the game if it was a 10-hour game and I had to listen to that for 10 hours, let alone an open-world game where I'm probably going to spend 40 to 100 hours in that game. Yeah, no, not happening. Absolutely not happening. I'd have to fast forward through all the conversations if you can, all the cutscenes, and then, I wouldn't even know what's going on in the game. So, yeah, it was very, very terrible. That took it right off. I unwish-listed it immediately. I was like, yeah, no, this is done. And, as more and more of that was revealed, and more of the story was revealed, and then it was all girl power crap and all the, yeah. And then it came out, and it was brutalized, Not only was it insufferable in its dialogue and all that, but the world was bland and empty, and the combat was okay, but there was nothing that really set it apart. I think the traversal was considered still pretty exceptional, but everything else was just kind of either terrible or bland at the best. So, yeah. Forspoken, you were at the forefront of that, and it had nothing to do with her being black. But that's right there. That's the sign, right there. If you've got a black female protagonist, you probably have a turd of a game right now. And that's not being racist. That's just basing things off of what's been going on in this industry, because it seems like that's what every studio does when SBI or Black Girl Gamers gets involved in it. And that's a shame, because there could be a game that calls for a strong black female lead, right? There could be a game where that's the authentic character that makes sense, that is perfect for that role, and it's going to get ripped and hazed and ignored, and it's going to fail because it's been done so many times for the wrong reasons that no one's going to even consider that, well, maybe this time it's cool, right? Hey, it is what it is. Anyway, reviews of Forspoken, which we released on January 24th, 2023, have been challenging, he said. However, the game has also received positive feedback on its action features, including its parkour and combat capabilities. Okay. So it has yielded results that will lead to improvement of our development capabilities of other games in the future. Yeah, the parkour looked cool. Moving to the game's sales, Matsuda noted, that said, its sales have been lackluster, and while the performance of new titles with February and March release dates will be the ultimate determinant, we see considerable downside risk to our 2023 third quarter earnings. The failure was so extreme that Square closed down Forspoken Studio Luminous Productions in February 2023. It seemed to many as though Square learned the old adage, get woke, go broke the hard way. It saw a 70% decrease in profits following its work with Sweet Baby Inc. and Black Girl Gamers. Soon after, Square announced plans to enhance productivity and shift its focus from quantity to quality, citing a commitment to creating unforgettable experiences. Still, though, major releases like Final Fantasy XVI and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth underperformed, leaving the studio in dire straits. In the HD Games sub-segment, we released multiple new titles, including major titles such as Final Fantasy XVI and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, but profits unfortunately did not meet our expectations, Square Enix President and Representative Director Takashi Kiryu noted back in September. And I apologize for any mispronounced names. He later detailed, despite the release of Foam Stars, oh God, what a garbage game that was, and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth in Quarter 4, initial sales were not as strong as expected, in addition to which an impairment was made to content production account, resulting in the operating loss. Yeah, I forgot they did Foam Stars. That's another live service game, I believe, right? Where I think, what did it seem to be marketed after or emulate? I can't remember, but yeah, you go around with like foam guns and stuff like that. The very colorful. I don't know what the target audience was. It looked like it was targeting younger people and all that, but just get away from the live service, guys. Get away from live service. Sony, it's going to destroy your company. Anyway, Square has stated that going forward it will focus more on broad multi-platform releases rather than the console-exclusive titles it's produced of late. Though the final installment in the Final Fantasy VII Remake Trilogy will still be a timed PS5 exclusive. Timed exclusive, okay, I get that. And they've done the first two for PlayStation, I get that, to do the third one. But yeah, get away from that, guys. It doesn't help you at all. You know, I think it just hurts that company immensely, and it's smart of them to stop doing that. And moving forward, I think they should just do, you know, broad releases to everybody, all at the same time. It's not like the old days. I remember the old days, you'd see a game come out on this console, and then a year later it would come out on that one. You know, first they would come out on PC sometimes, and it was always this weird release schedule. If you look back at like old game releases and all that, it was wild how it worked out, you know. Now it's usually a year, right? There's a year exclusivity, if any exclusivity, or it's total, you know, whatever. Anyway, do you believe that Square Enix stock drop is a direct result of its work with companies like Sweet Baby Inc. and Black Girl Gamers? And will you buy any Square Enix games in the future? Sound off and let us know. I mean, personally, I'm not holding it against Square Enix. They think they, you know, Japan is not fully understanding what's going on in the West here. And I'm hoping that they're learning, right? I'm hoping that failures like this and situations like this, they're sitting back and they're going, wait a minute, what's going on? I'm hoping they're seeing what's going on with Ubisoft and the whole Yasuke thing with Assassin's Creed Shadows, and they're going, wait, what? You know, and they're learning about this whole culture over here of the woke mindset. And, you know, I'm seeing more and more over there of these companies starting to embrace some of this crap. But, you know, hopefully a few slaps like this, a few $350 million hits, and they're going to be like, well, wait a minute, no. Let's go back to doing the way we've done it for all these other years and forget the West. Let the West burn for all we care, you know. Because, yeah, we need somebody to keep making good games. I mean, Korea's doing it right now, South Korea. China's doing it right now. You know, it can't just be those two guys. They can't bear, you know, they can't bear the burden of gaming all on their own shoulders. You know, we need somebody else involved. And hopefully the West turns around here, man. We've seen so many companies suffer so much that I feel like it has to change here soon. There has to be a reckoning, and there has to be a swing of the pendulum in the other direction. Otherwise, I don't know what's going to happen. Leave your thoughts down below in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and ring that bell for notification. I'm Captain Beefy with the Game Vault. Thanks for dropping by today. I will see you next time. Until then, peace.